Welcome back, everyone, to the session. I'm very excited about this session in particular. The session is NEP 2020 and Implementers Perspective. There's going to be a panel discussion. We have Siddesh Sharma here, who is the co-founder and chief programs officer at Leadership for Equity. We also have Aditya Nataraj. He's the founder and director of Kaivalya Education Foundation and Piramal School of Leadership. We have Neha Balsare. She's the deputy director at SCRT. Very warm welcome to all of you. Over to you for the session.
Thank you so much, Elizabeth. It's a big pleasure to be here and an honor to have such esteemed panelists to talk about the important issues related to the NEP 2020. ये session bilingual रहेगा, English and Hindi we will try to merge. Idea ये है कि NEP पे बहुत policy level चर्चा हुए हैं. We don't want to do a very high level discussion on everything in the NEP. So what we want to talk about is policy is great, but the proof of the pudding is in the implementation. So how can we really think from an implementation perspective, what it will take for us to make many of the recommendations in NEP 2020 a reality for all children. So as a first thing, there are many recommendations in NEP 2020. So one of the most important points under the National Education Policy is around giving holistic education or holistic teacher practices and pedagogy for children, which includes a lot, very frequently used terms such as national 21st century skills, sports, arts. All of these things are usually thrown around in the policy. So I wanted to invite Aditya Nataraj to really talk about, under this curriculum and pedagogy recommendation, what are some of the important features or points that have been mentioned that we really need to take note.
Thank you, Siddesh. It's a real pleasure here being with all of you. And I'm really excited about NEP. As a practitioner, being on the field, working with children, for some time we have seen that there is a gap between what is valuable for children and what the policy has actually, or what has been actually happening to children in schools. Therefore, there's a lack of interest within the children. I think the NEP really seeks to bridge that gap, and I'm very excited. This is on multiple levels. First, if you see, it's in terms of aims of education. Two, it seems in terms of the assessment of the aims, and three, in terms of the curriculum. So first of all, in terms of the aims, the NEP is extremely clear that the purpose is learning to learn. It is not a learn by rote system. We are not, the entire 10th standard exams were built around learning by rote, knowing more and more facts, which year did Babur invade, type of thing. This is gone now. This will change. There's a systematic plan for changing this. In 10 years from now, I have one daughter who's 13 years old who still has to do this 10th standard exam, but my son who's 4 years old doesn't have to do this Babur-based exam. And I think that's a huge shift because it's about learning to learn, which means you're testing higher order thinking skills. You're testing the ability to analyze, to critically read a text rather than just regurgitate. Sorry?
To apply also, I was trying to say.
Absolutely, to apply. So the assessment will change, to the aims of education will change dramatically. The second part is that it's not just about cognitive learning. We have constantly focused only on cognitive learning and given it a preference over every other form of learning. There is also the emotional development of the child, right? There's the physical development of the child. There's the aesthetic development of the child. Right? There are multiple intelligence in the child, but we have always focused only on the cognitive learning. So my child may be beautiful at music, but then the exam system will test her only in whether she knows quadratic equations, third order trinomials, right? Which has been very narrow. The NEP clearly makes it much broader. So as a practitioner, I'm extremely excited about the fact that it's making the aims much broader. The third is at a curriculum and implementation level. At a curriculum level also, it says it needs to be multidisciplinary, it needs to be sports integrated, it needs to be art integrated. This means that no longer can you teach art as a separate thing. It needs to be integrated into the curriculum. When you're teaching the science and the math, it needs to be multidisciplinary. So when you're actually solving a real life problem, when you and I are solving a problem, together at work, when you and I are plumbers together, or whether we are bankers together. You don't know whether it's an art problem, a finance problem, or a sports problem, or a physical problem. You
Absolutely.
integrate all that. Yeah. So that is the whole thing over here, that the curriculum has to be interdisciplinary, multidisciplinary, sports integrated, and art integrated. So at 3 different levels, setting a much higher aim of education, changing the assessment, and changing the curriculum. I'm very, very excited about the possibilities that arise because of the new national education policy.
Thank you. Thank you, Aditya. And one phrase that the policy uses in the languages, there will be no hard separation between the arts, the sciences, and the various streams, and also vocational and open schooling and all of that. So really, when we're talking about the equity angle, I think it's being thought about really well. But ये सारे जो चीजें हैं, in terms of आर्ट को इंटीग्रेट करना है, स्पोर्ट को इंटीग्रेट करना है, ये बहुत ही प्रोग्रेसिव चेंजेस है, बहुत ही एस्पिरेशनल चेंजेस है. तो यहाँ पे मैं डॉक्टर नेहा बेलसरी को इंट्रोड्यूस करना चाहूंगा, जो SCRT महाराष्ट्र के डेप्यूटी डायरेक्टर हैं, और उन्होंने लास्ट 20-25 इयर्स में बहुत रूरल स्कूल सिस्टम्स, टीचर एजुकेशन, ये सारा चीज का चार्ज उन्होंने संभाला है. तो मैडम, आपके नजरिए में आपको क्या लगता है कि challenges क्या आ सकती हैं, इतने जो progressive vision आदित्य ने आपने को बताया, what can be the challenges to implement all of this? How far away are we from this reality? Would love to hear from you.
तो अभी आदित्य जी ने तो बताया है कि ये मल्टी डिसिप्लिनरी होना है, आर्ट इंटीग्रेटेड, स्पोर्ट्स इंटीग्रेटेड, हम लोगों को पेडागोजी यूज करनी है. तो हम लोगों को 2 लेवल पे इस पे चैलेंजेस दिख रहे हैं. एक तो पॉलिसी लेवल पे स्टेट में क्या डिसीजंस लेने हैं अलाइन विद NEP 2020. तो ये एक बात है कि हाँ, अगर महाराष्ट्र की बात की जाए तो मोर देन 7 लाख टीचर्स है. तो ये पूरे टीचर्स की कैपेसिटी बिल्डिंग इस तरीके से कैसे करनी है विद इन स्टिपुलेटेड टाइम. तो ये कम से कम समय में इतने टीचर्स तक पहुंचने के लिए अगर हम टेक्नोलॉजी भी यूज करते हैं तो एक्सपर्टीज का एक बड़ा चैलेंज है इसमें, ये दिख रहा है. अदर देन दैट जो माइंडसेट का है कि टीचर का माइंडसेट जो बदलना चाहिए इसमें, क्योंकि टीचर एज अ फैसिलिटेटर हम लोगों ने इसमें विजुअलाइज किया है एज पर NEP, और उसके लिए टीचर्स का ट्रेनिंग होना, उनकी कैपेसिटी बिल्डिंग करना, और फिर एक्सपीरियंशियल लर्निंग. पेडागोजी में भी काफी चेंजेस हम लोग ये कर रहे हैं कि 21st सेंचुरी स्किल्स बच्चों में आने चाहिए, मल्टी डिसिप्लिनरी अप्रोच होना चाहिए. तो अगर हम लोग एक रूरल टीचर लेते हैं तो वो टीचर 50 बच्चों को पढ़ा रहा है, एक ही टीचर है या 2 टीचर है, तो उस तक ये पूरे सब अलग अलग हम लैंग्वेजेस की लर्निंग की बात कर रहे हैं, अलग अलग सब्जेक्ट का एक्सपोजर की बात कर रहे हैं, अलग अलग सब्जेक्ट के इंटीग्रेशन की बात कर रहे हैं, और करिकुलर, को करिकुलर, एक्स्ट्रा करिकुलर कुछ नहीं होगा. तो एक इंटीग्रेटेड अप्रोच में ये बच्चों के पास जाएगा. तो ये भी एक चैलेंज है कि हम लोग टीचर का माइंडसेट कैसे चेंज करते हैं. अदर देन दैट, हाउ टू क्रिएट पावरफुल एक्सपीरियंसेस. तो इसमें हमें अगर 21st सेंचुरी स्किल्स बच्चों में आने हैं तो पावरफुल एक्सपीरियंसेस कैसे किए जाए, ये भी टीचर्स के लिए चैलेंज रहेगा. हायर ऑर्डर थिंकिंग स्किल्स कैसे डेवलप करने हैं, उसके लिए क्या अलग अलग स्ट्रेटेजीज करने हैं, और स्कूल के बाहर भी लाइफ स्किल के लिए बच्चे सीख सकते हैं. ये पूरे चैलेंजेस है टीचर्स के लेवल पे.
बिल्कुल, थैंक यू सो मच मैम. क्लियरली आपने एट अ सिस्टम लेवल भी बताया कि ये चैलेंजेस है. एक टीचर इन अ स्मॉल स्कूल वो कैसे ये सारी चीजें करेंगे, वो भी एक चैलेंज है. बहुत सारा लोड भी बढ़ सकता है उनके ऊपर. एंड देन ऑफ कोर्स ट्रांसपोर्ट फॉर एक्सपीरियंस क्रिएशन. सो थैंक यू, वेरी इंफॉर्मेटिव. तो ऑफ कोर्स हम सबको पता है कि कोई भी नई चीज जब हम करने जाते हैं तो चैलेंजेस तो आएंगे ही. तो मैं ये भी पूछना चाहूंगा, लेट्स गो बैक टू आदित्य ऑन दिस, कि ये दिखता कैसे है, because when we say holistic learning, it's very easy to say integrate karo sports, integrate karo art, but what does this look like, given that our audience are a lot of teachers? Can you just throw light on what it looks like in a day-to-day? How does an art integrated or a sport integrated class look like?
Sure, Siddesh. So typically when I was in school and I did sports, the purpose of sports was only to win in sports day, at annual day. I had to be faster if I was 400-meter runner. If I was in football, I had to score a goal. That was the purpose of sports. right? That's a very narrow purpose of sports. The true purpose of physical literacy, if you make it more broad and you integrate it into the education, there is a lot of emotional and psychological development that's possible in sport, right? So we, for example, in Kaivalya, we do ultimate frisbee as a game where we teach people to play frisbee. Why do you play frisbee? Because frisbee is a game where girls and boys both are on the same team.
Right.
Okay, I have played myself with children as a teacher, and I'll tell you what happened. जब दोनों लड़के आप सोचिए कि हम जैसलमेर में हैं, आप सोचिए कि जैसलमेर के एक गांव है जहां पे लड़की और लड़के साथ में घूमना सोशल नॉर्म के अलग है. यू कांट, इट्स नॉट नॉर्मल, राइट? लेकिन अभी हम स्पोर्ट्स खेल रहे हैं, तो इस स्पोर्ट में 3 लड़के हैं, एक टीम में 5 बच्चे हैं, उसमें से 3 लड़के हैं, 2 लड़कियां हैं. तो जब वो खेलते हैं तो उस टाइम पे पहली बार तो लड़के अपने खुद पे खुद रखते हैं और फाइनली जाके गोल स्कोर कर देते हैं, राइट? लेकिन सेकंड टाइम जब हम गेम खेलते हैं तो बोलते हैं कि हर एक को एक बार वो डिस्क छूना ही है इसके पहले कि वो जाके गोल में गिरे.
Absolutely.
अभी तो लड़कियों को भी देना पड़ेगा, लेकिन जब हम लड़की को देते हैं तो फिर अचानक हमने देखा कि वो लड़की के पास एक दूसरा लड़का खड़ा था ताकि वो ड्रॉप ना कर दे. Right? So then we did a debrief at the end of the sports session and asked the boy, why were you standing so close to the girl so that she doesn't drop it? So he said, no, so that she won't drop it. Why do you not have confidence in that girl that she'll catch it? And the boy said, because I don't think girls are capable of catching frisbee. I said, why are they not capable? Because girls are not capable of sports. Where did that assumption come from? अभी ये जेंडर की बात हो गई, विमेन एम्पावरमेंट की बात हो गई या स्पोर्ट्स की बात हो गई यहाँ पे. तो लड़कियों को हमेशा हम सोचते हैं कि वी हैव टू गिव रोल मॉडल्स ऑफ ग्रेट विमेन, रानी लक्ष्मीबाई, शो रानी ऑफ झांसी, ओनली देन विमेन विल लर्न. बट हियर स्पोर्ट्स इज बीइंग यूज्ड एक्चुअली फॉर जेंडर इक्वालिटी. Similarly, if you take something like art, when I was in school standard, we used to use poems. तो हम कबीर के दोहे सुनते थे एंड वी यूज्ड टू लर्न कि कबीर क्या बोलना चाह रहे थे. किसी ने पूछा नहीं कि मेरे इमोशंस क्या हैं, मेरे भावनाएं क्या हैं, मैं क्या एक्सप्रेस करना चाह रहा था, राइट? सो नाउ वी वर्क इन सर्टेन प्लेसेस इन पार्टनरशिप विद स्लैम आउट लाउड, फॉर एग्जांपल, वेयर टीचर्स आर हेल्पिंग चिल्ड्रन राइट पोएट्री. Now we always think that poetry is for consumption. बड़े-बड़े लोग रविंद्रनाथ टैगोर पोएट्री लिख सकते हैं, लेकिन मैं नहीं लिख सकता हूँ. Right? But children can be taught to write poetry, not just to write text. And that's a beautiful thing, because then the expression of that little girl child, of what she means, what is meaningful to her, how she is interpreting the world, that is so critical. So again, now, is that literature? Is that art? When you're teaching someone to write a poem and illustrate the poem and share it in an exhibition, and put it up as a Diwali greeting card. Now, when she's making a Diwali greeting card with a poem inside her, so this is the integration, right? If she's actually able to express herself, create a poem, it's language skills also, it's artistic skills also, it's communication skills also, multiple skills are coming together. So like this, many teachers across India have always wanted to do stuff like this, but have been restricted sometimes by the curriculum. And these have always been thought of as extracurricular activities. But the NEP is very, very clear that there is no separation between extracurricular, co-curricular, and curricular. They are all the same. And I think that really creates a lot of opportunity for all of us.
Right. And thanks, Aditya. I think, were there any more examples of who are some of the organizations who have created this great model for us to look at and learn from?
So many organizations have been working on this for the last 15, 20 years. Dream a Dream, based out of Bangalore, has been working in sports and art integrated education for life skills for very, very long. We've learned a lot from them and brought them to our government schools. That is one very good thing. Aflatun works on financial literacy, not just teaching maths, but how do you take a loan? What does interest in a loan mean? What does a savings bank mean? What does fixed deposit mean? They do really good work in financial literacy. Art integrated education, Nalanda Way from Tamil Nadu is an outstanding organization which knows how to integrate theater and art into education. Slam Out Loud in North India is really good, works across North Indian Hindi belt states for helping bring art education. Art of Play is a beautiful organization, works with sports and how to bring sports and physical literacy in Haryana and in Delhi schools. So there are many small non-profits, large non-profits who have been working in this area for some time. And I think they're all open sourcing their curriculum so that teachers can pick up these practices and do them in their own classrooms.
Got it. Thank you so much. So what we are seeing is that हम लोग ऐसा नहीं है कि हम लोग Friday 4 बजे हम लोग 21st century skill period रखेंगे, but Tuesday 1 o'clock हम लोग sport period रखेंगे. वो होगा ही sport period, but sport, art ये सारी चीजें regular periods and subjects and इसके साथ कैसे integrate होगा ताकि बच्चे का जो learning experience है वो और भी व्यापक और भी holistic हो जाए. So that is something that we are seeing and some very good examples shared by Aditya. तो मैं ये भी पूछना चाहूंगा नेहा जी कि महाराष्ट्र ने भी बहुत सारे ऐसे एग्जांपल्स देखे हैं पॉकेट्स में कि बहुत बेस्ट प्रैक्टिसेस आ रहे हैं कि टीचर्स काम कर रहे हैं या सिस्टम लेवल से हम लोग देख रहे हैं कि कुछ प्रोग्रेसिव चेंजेस ला रहे हैं. सो मैम इफ यू कैन थ्रो सम लाइट कि ऐसे क्या ब्राइट स्पॉट्स हैं व्हिच वी कैन यूज और सॉर्ट ऑफ लर्न फ्रॉम टू एंश्योर दैट वी आर ब्रिंगिंग एनईपी क्लोजर टू सक्सेस.
हाँ सिद्धेश, इसमें भी दो लाइन पे हम लोग बात करना चाहेंगे कि स्टेट लेवल पे क्या इनिशिएटिव्स लिए गए हैं पॉलिसी लेवल पे और एक्चुअल इम्प्लीमेंटेशन क्या हुआ है और ग्राउंड पे क्या क्या हो रहा है. तो पहले मैं ये बात करूं कि स्टेट लेवल पे हम लोगों ने जो इनिशिएटिव्स लिए हैं ये पूरा क्वालिटी एजुकेशन के लिए, तो उसके लिए वी हैव रिस्ट्रक्चर्ड SCRT in 2016 and established new departments as equity, dedicated department to establish equity in the state through quality education, then IT department, international quality cell, along with all school subjects. So dedicated maths and language department is way ahead to achieve and foundational literacy and numeracy in the state. And we have had conducted foundational literacy basic reading program for all teachers of 1st to 5 class in 2018-19 and basic concepts in maths for all teachers from class 1 to 5. And वो असर जो हुआ लेटेस्ट असर उसमें 3% से राइज हुआ है लर्निंग आउटकम बेसिक रीड और बेसिक न्यूमरसी में. Sorry. Along with that, level-based learning program is going on for maths as well as for regional language Marathi, and through that 180 days program we will be able to achieve foundational literacy and numeracy up to class 8. That is one point. Other than that, there are various pockets in Maharashtra, some clusters, some beats. That is more than cluster is a group of 10 to 12 schools. Beat is a group of 40 to 50 schools. तो ऐसे कई बीट्स और क्लस्टर्स है जहाँ पे वहाँ का क्लस्टर हेड या एक्सटेंशन ऑफिसर ने पूरा का पूरा क्लस्टर चेंज कर दिया है. वहाँ का कोई भी बच्चा पीछे नहीं है, उनको एज अप्रोप्रिएट ग्रेड अप्रोप्रिएट लर्निंग आउटकम्स है. अदर देन दैट वो कुछ क्रिएटिव थिंकिंग हम लोग जो बोल रहे हैं वो खुद से करके प्रोजेक्ट बेस्ड लर्निंग करके कई सारे खुद से खुद सीखने लगे हैं. इसका एग्जांपल है कुंठे बीट की एक्सटेंशन ऑफिसर है प्रतिभा जी, और उन्होंने पूरे 39 स्कूल्स में इतना पूरा अच्छे सा बदलाव लेके आए हैं कि महाराष्ट्र के मोर देन 60,000 टीचर्स और ऑफिसर्स खुद के पैसे से कोई भी गवर्नमेंट का इनिशिएटिव ना होते हुए वहां जाके देख के उसका रिप्लिकेशन कई अलग अलग जगह पे कर रहे हैं. अदर देन दैट कोई अच्छे स्कूल्स भी है जो लोकल बॉडी स्कूल्स है और बहुत अच्छा काम कर रहे हैं. जैसे वाबलेवाड़ी की स्कूल है जो इंटरनेशनल स्कूल है, उसका बिल्डिंग भी एक नई तरीके से बनाया गया है. लेकिन मैं बोलना चाहूंगी उसके पेडागोजी के बारे में. तो वहाँ पे विद्यार्थी मित्र यानी स्टूडेंट फ्रेंड की एक कंसेप्ट है. तो एक बच्चा अपने छोटे बच्चों को सिखाता है, क्लासमेट्स को सिखाता है, और उस टाइप के पीयर लर्निंग से वो कई स्किल्स बच्चे सीख रहे हैं. वो स्कूल में कोडिंग ऑलरेडी 2 साल के पहले ही शुरू कर दिया गया है. वहाँ के बच्चों ने रडार बना दिया है. तो बच्चे YouTube पे कुछ देख के भी बहुत सारी चीजें बनाने लगे हैं. अदर देन दैट कोई इंजीनियर्स जो रूरल एरिया में ये स्कूल है तो वहाँ के जो इंजीनियर्स है वो वंस इन अ वीक स्कूल को समय देते हैं और उसमें कुछ अलग से टेक्नोलॉजी बच्चों को पढ़ाते हैं. तो ऐसे कई सारे अच्छे प्रैक्टिसेस भी हो रहे हैं. मैं एक नासिक के स्कूल का एग्जांपल देना चाहूंगी. हिवाड़ी नाम का एक स्कूल है, वहाँ पे वो ट्राइबल एरिया में है. खुद बच्चे भी वहाँ के ट्राइबल है, वो टीचर वहाँ पे जो सिखाते हैं वो भी ट्राइबल है, और वो गुजरात बॉर्डर पे, महाराष्ट्र गुजरात बॉर्डर का वो स्कूल है. तो वो 365 डेज वो स्कूल चलता है। वहाँ पे बच्चे सुबह 7:30 बजे आते हैं तो रात में 10:30 बजे तक वहाँ पे रहते हैं और उनको 10:30 बजे बोलना पड़ता है कि सोने के लिए अभी आप घर जाओ। तो इतना क्या होता है वहाँ पे, वो टीचर जो है वो इतना डेडिकेटेड है। एक तो वो बच्चों की लैंग्वेज जानता है, अदर देन दैट वो खुद को उसको एमपीएससी करना था, वो कुछ ना कुछ वजह से नहीं हो पाया, तो वो ऐसा ये उसका खुद का ड्रीम है कि मेरे यहाँ से कोई आईएएस तैयार हो। और ये हर एक बच्चा कहीं ना कहीं जाके लीडरशिप करे, इस टाइप के बच्चे हो, ये खुद का वो टीचर का विजन है। उसके लिए वो इतने पावरफुल एक्सपीरियंसेस क्रिएट करता है वहाँ पे। और वहाँ पे जो बच्चे उनका अगर हम लोग मैथ्स देखेंगे, ओरल मैथ्स, तो ओरली वो टेबल्स 90 तक के भी बोलते हैं, 90 वो बच्चे। और वहाँ पे भी उन्होंने पीयर लर्निंग का ही एग्जाम्पल है। बड़े बच्चे को सिखाते हैं सिर्फ टीचर, और बड़े बच्चे छोटे बच्चों को सिखाते हैं। तो ये भी एक अच्छे से वहाँ पे हो रहा है। और ऐसे कई सारे एग्जाम्पल्स महाराष्ट्र में है कि टीचर अच्छे काम कर रहे हैं, क्लस्टर हेड्स अच्छे काम कर रहे हैं, एक्सटेंशन ऑफिसर है, कई ब्लॉक है, जो एक ब्लॉक एजुकेशन ऑफिसर ने भी एक अच्छा सा काम इसमें किया है। अदर देन पेडोलॉजी, उन्होंने प्रशासन आपके घर पे ऐसे करके जितने भी पेंडिंग केसेस थे, वो पूरे पेंडिंग केसेस इन 1 वीक पूरे टीचर के करेक्ट कर दिए। तो टीचर को जो एक कंडीसिव एनवायरनमेंट चाहिए अच्छा काम करने के लिए, तो उसके सर्विस कंडीशंस अच्छे हो, उसके कोई पीसफुली वो काम कर सके, वो एडमिन ऑफिसर ने किए हैं। तो ऐसे कई एग्जांपल्स हम लोगों को महाराष्ट्र में दिखने को मिलते हैं।
फैंटास्टिक, थैंक यू सो मच मैडम। आपने सिस्टमिक लेंस से, एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव लेंस से एंड स्टूडेंट के लेंस से भी हमको बताया कि क्या क्या पॉसिबल है। एंड मुझे लगता है कि कौन से भी पॉलिसी को इम्प्लीमेंट करने के लिए ये सारे जो अपने ब्राइट स्पॉट्स है सिस्टम में, उनका सहारा लेकर के, उनको बढ़ावा देकर के हम लोग आगे बढ़ सकते हैं। We have 2 or 3 audience questions before we move to my last question. We have 10 more minutes. तो एक क्वेश्चन ऐसा आया है, मे बी आदित्य कैन टेक दिस। एनईपी में एक बात जो कही गई है, ये नेविल थॉमस ने क्वेश्चन पूछा है कि बहुत ही अर्ली स्टेजेस से, मिडिल स्कूल से ऐसा बोला है कि वोकेशनल एजुकेशन पे फोकस दिया जाएगा। सो डज पुटिंग एन एम्फेसिस ऑन रीडायरेक्टिंग स्टूडेंट्स टू वोकेशनल एजुकेशन, would it reinforce boundaries and then hence reinforce caste-based professions again? Is that something that is that a danger of happening, or what is a better other way to look at it?
Very sensitive question, Siddesh. When I go into a physics lab, is it vocational education?
Yeah, it's a valid point. But are you
but
doing
when I go into a carpentry lab, it becomes vocational education. Who decided that physics lab was not vocational, but carpentry lab was vocational education? So physics lab is also working with material, but as soon as you work, so in the physics lab, suppose I have to put in a piece of wood, is it vocational education or is it physics education? So this artificial separation, the purpose of the vocationalization as I understand it is that you have to have, it's not that everyone is going to become a carpenter or everyone is going to become a plumber, but Lend a Hand India, which is one of the best organizations who works in this area, right, says that you have to, there is a mind-body connection which is very important to build in children. And there is a application component which is very important to build in children. If you are actually have to build, let's say, just a desk or a chest of drawers you might not become a carpenter, but when you need to build a chest of drawers, you need to use every geometry principle that you know, right? You have to use right angle, you have to measure, you have to do area, you have to do surface, how much wood should I buy, how do I fix right angle, pressure of the nail that I put. So there are so many physics concepts just in making one small wooden dressing table. And so the idea here in NEP is that how do you use, whether it is that, let's assume plumbing, similarly, pressure, I used to learn pressure in school and, all those, what is that, Boyle's law or something like that, what temperature does this thing. Now in plumbing, you are learning about pressure. When it is only 2 floors above, what plumbing will happen, how does drainage work? All this is part of that. So vocational education is not that we want to push everyone into becoming plumbers, carpenters, masons. If they choose to, that is beautiful. But unless we do this sort of education, the actual application of this knowledge is completely unknown. We don't know why we are learning trigonometry. We don't know why we are learning surface area. We don't know why we are learning pressure, because there is no application. And so the idea is to bring these two worlds together. If we actually go to a rural child, I'm not telling her not to learn physics. I'm telling her, use the opportunity that your father's pump in his field is not working, and see how to repair that pump. And when you repair that pump, you're learning physics, you're learning chemistry, you're learning biology, everything, because there's something stuck inside the pump. Something is growing inside the pump. Why is that thing growing? What temperature does it grow at? You can learn biology on it. You can learn the physics and the pressure and everything of the pump. You can learn engineering of the pump. There is so much to learn. When you want integrated learning, this is what will happen. It is not about learning about, I'm not going to become a pump repairman, but it is the application of my physics, chemistry, biology, and the application of my mind-body connections, which is what is most important here.
Yeah.
So I think this artificial separation between vocational and non-vocational is not applicable.
Thanks, Aditya, for bringing it back to the whole head, heart, and hand idea, where the integrated way we have to see all of these things. I think the question also probably stems from the fact that the separation is current, and hence that might be perpetuated. But if we actually internalize these nuances, we might not see that type of hard separation. 2-3 more questions which I'm going to quickly select and take. Belsari ma'am, given that you handle teacher education, this question is directly for you. What is the importance of teacher training in making NEP a reality, and how will this look like in single teacher or 2-teacher schools?
Teacher training, as per NEP, we have to build capacity of teachers in various ways. So we have to change at 2 levels, in PST, that is pre-service teacher education, as well as in service teacher education. तो प्री सर्विस में जो है तो नेशनल करिकुलम फ्रेमवर्क फॉर टीचर एजुकेशन नेशनल लेवल पे डेवलप होगा, उसके अकॉर्डिंगली स्टेट में बदलाव हम लोग लेके आएंगे. और जो ऑलरेडी सर्विस में टीचर्स है, जैसे आपने सिंगल्स टीचर्स और 2 टीचर स्कूल बोला गया है, तो हम लोगों को पूरा फेस टू फेस टीचर ट्रेनिंग का मॉडल नहीं चलेगा. तो उसमें कुछ ब्लेंडेड मोड का, ऑनलाइन मोड का, ऐसे भी यूज करके हम लोग मासेस तक पहुंच सकते हैं, ताकि उनका स्कूल छोड़ के वो ज्यादा समय तक स्कूल के बाहर ट्रेनिंग के लिए ना रहे. तो इस तरीके से हम लोगों को टीचर्स के बारे में, ट्रेनिंग के बारे में सोचना होगा. अगर 2 टीचर स्कूल है तो 1 टीचर एट ए टाइम फॉर ट्रेनिंग, इस तरीके से हम लोग कर सकते हैं. और जो सिंगल टीचर स्कूल है उनके लिए ऑनलाइन और कुछ छुट्टियों में ब्लेंडेड इस टाइप से भी कर सकते हैं.
Okay, thank you so much, ma'am. This question was by Suresh Kumar and Lakshmi Narayan. The next questions come to us from Ravina and Rizwana. Rizwana is asking, anybody can take this, I think Aditya can answer this. How important is parent awareness, and how can we work with parents to make this NEP a reality? And the other question is, would teaching in mother tongue, which is one of the biggest recommendations, cause more challenges or have more advantages? So you can take it in either order, and these are the last 2 questions from the audience.
So maybe I'll leave the mother tongue question to Madam. She's more trained in being able to answer that. But the parent is not just about awareness, Siddesh. I think it's way beyond that. We have constantly imagined that the parent will come to the SMC committee. Yeah, we'll come to the school monitoring committee, and that's all her role is, make sure that there's attendance. We've never looked at the parent as a teacher. So in the new models that we are trying, we are seeing that the parent is a resource. The parent is a teacher. The parent is not just for ensuring attendance and discipline of the child. So what do I mean by this, right? There are at least 4 categories of skills that even in the smallest village in India, there are at least 4 categories of skills that the parents and the community bring. One is agriculture related skills. You know, when parents will know soil types, parents know water and water types, water conservation, parents know seed and seed types, temperature, cycle, processing of agricultural outputs, marketing of those outputs, sale price, input, output, cost, profit, everything parents already know. If we brought those farmers into the school to be able to teach the children this, it brings a respect to farming, it brings parents back as teachers. The second category is professionals. There's always an electrician, plumber, mason, carpenter. in the panchayat. Again, that person is bringing a particular skill. Like I said before, there's so much that an electrician can teach a teacher. It's not about becoming an electrician, but you're teaching electricity, right? How does it get conducted? Plus, minus, basic skills in electrician, carpenting. All the concepts can be learned by that. The third category is the retail trader. Again, there is always a kirana dukan. There is always a chakki, atta chakki maker. There is always a mobile phone shop. All these people, they can teach you so much of economics and maths because they're profit, they're stocking, they're selling, marketing. There are so many things that they can teach over there. And finally is the service professional. There is someone who's working in the local factory as an accountant, as a lawyer, as a blue collar worker. There's so much that they can bring. So we have to look at parents as a resource for the school. If I was to think of a dream school, I would actually say that rather than having 2 teachers who are teaching for 8 hours each, can we actually have 16 hours being given to a child? Can we actually have 16 parents teaching for 1 hour each from each of these categories? So that children are being exposed to these different things and learning concepts from reality, not just the teacher. The teacher becomes a facilitator to bring in the right community member and to help the child debrief on this and to learn the concept and reinforce the concept. So I think that's because teachers otherwise are always wondering how to apply the concept. First teach the concept and apply. Instead, you can actually bring the parent in, show the application, and then teach how you can improve the concept.
Absolutely. I think, really, I think what you have said is it will take a village, as the saying goes, to raise the child and also to educate the child. And that is something that is coming out through this conversation. We have 2 more minutes, I have been strictly told. So Neha ma'am, if you can briefly answer the mother tongue question, will it be more advantageous or will it cause more challenges?
Yeah. तो मीडियम ऑफ इंस्ट्रक्शन मदर टंग होनी चाहिए, ये सभी रिसर्चर्स ने प्रूव किया है. और जितने भी पॉलिसीज बने हैं राइट फ्रॉम 1968 टू 2020, हर एक पॉलिसी ने इसको ही इंसिस्ट किया है कि लैंग्वेज ऑफ मीडियम ऑफ इंस्ट्रक्शन ये मदर टंग ही होना चाहिए. तो ये पॉलिसी कहती है कि मदर टंग रीजनल लैंग्वेज. तो इसका रीजन ये है कि बच्चों की एनर्जी लैंग्वेज लर्न करने में न जाए, तो बच्चे एक थिंकर बने, इसके लिए उनको मदर टंग में पढ़ाना जरूरी है. दूसरी बात यहाँ पे यह चैलेंज है कि पेरेंट्स नहीं कन्विंस होते, उनका माइंडसेट चेंज करना ये बड़ा चैलेंज है. तो उसके लिए हम लोगों को ये एग्जांपल्स देने होंगे कि मीडियम ऑफ इंस्ट्रक्शन ये एक चीज है और लैंग्वेज लर्निंग ये दूसरी चीज है. एज अ लैंग्वेज यू कैन लर्न एनी लैंग्वेज वॉट एवर यू वांट, लेकिन मीडियम ऑफ इंस्ट्रक्शन ये मदर टंग ही होना चाहिए. तो बच्चे अच्छे से सीखते, कोई भी लैंग्वेज n नंबर ऑफ लैंग्वेज वो सीख सकते हैं अगर वो मदर टंग में सीखे.
थैंक यू. परफेक्टली आउटलाइंड बेलसरे मैम. रिसर्च का भी आपने दिया और इनफैक्ट पॉलिसी में भी लिखा है कि जस्ट बिकॉज मीडियम ऑफ इंस्ट्रक्शन एक लैंग्वेज है डजंट स्टॉप यू फ्रॉम लर्निंग अदर लैंग्वेजेस. सो अभी वो आंध्र प्रदेश में जो कोर्ट केस भी चल रहा है, जो कोर्ट ने भी कुछ वर्डिक्ट दिया है अराउंड कंपल्सरी इंग्लिश, ऑल ऑफ दीज आर व्हाट इज प्लेइंग आउट. विद दैट आई थिंक आई विल क्लोज. एज वी कैन सी इम्प्लीमेंटेशन लेवल पे जब हम देखते हैं बहुत सारे चैलेंजेस भी है, लेकिन सेम इम्प्लीमेंटेशन लेवल पे बहुत सारे ब्राइट स्पॉट्स भी है जिसको हम लोग को वी हैव टू कीप बिल्डिंग ऑन दैट. So thank you so much, Aditya and Dr. Neha Belzare, for joining for this panel and really giving some diverse perspectives and in fact twisting the questions and making us think differently about how we need to approach implementing this very wide-ranging and aspirational policy. I hope all of the listeners have enjoyed this session. And for anything else, please continue in the comments and we'll try and respond as the day goes by. Thank you so much. Over to the organizers.
Thank you so much, everyone. The chat box was flooding with lots of questions. I could pick only very few with the time that's available. And thank you so much for answering those.